All set.
All right. Meeting should come to order. It is 6:30 PM on May 19th. This is the zoning board of appeals meeting. Just to kind of quickly go around the room, we've got our members of the ZBA, Warren, KP, Claire, and Carrie. We've got our amazing secretary, Debbie, our legal counsel, Jamie Sutphin. Tom
It's
is
the
our
amazing part.
Okay, she's amazing too. Tom is with our codes department. And then on AV tonight is our town supervisor. All right, everyone in the audience, if you could just ensure that you silence your phone. For those of you online, if anybody comes in, we will address your questions and or comments during the public comment period. So what I'm going to ask first is if everybody could stand and pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, so tonight we have on the agenda 2 different appeals to hear. Decide whether to grant or deny the request for a variance based on the established zoning laws of the town of Manlius. Board will hear each appeal separately. We'll hear from the applicant. There will be a time to hear from the public on the variance, and then we will make our decision by voice vote. So first thing, we'll go to agenda item number 3. Has everybody on the board had a chance to review the minutes from last month? Does anybody have any questions?
I believe on the third item, Carrie was mentioned, but she was absent.
Okay.
So we'll make that amendment. Any other comments or changes? All right, may I get a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll make a motion.
KP, Warren seconded, all in favor?
All right.
Aye, opposed? All right, minutes are approved. Legal notice for tonight's agenda has been published to notify the general public of the meeting. Can I have a motion to waive the reading of the publication?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All right, I sense a pattern. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? All right, this time I'll request a motion to open the public hearing on agenda item number 4. KP?
I assume that's gonna be 26 Chef's Lane.
Yes.
Okay. I just want to make a point
You got to make, are you, what?
that up here, it says Chef's Corner.
Yeah, they had it written to
So
Chef's
it's-
Corners and Chef's,
So I just
yeah.
want to clarify
Yeah.
what the correct one is.
It's Shep's Lane.
Sheriff's thing.
Correct.
Okay? Chef's Lane.
before I caught it,
Yes.
I'd written those out.
So you made the motion. Claire, you want a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, all right. All right, so Mr. Longden, if you could.
That's me.
That's you, okay. If you could come up or just kind of stand up there and explain what you're looking to do. And just for reference for the board, we need 2 variances.
Where would you
and
like
he's-
me to stay?
Right there's fine.
Okay, perfect.
Yep. And he's looking to install a 12 by 40 foot shed.
Okay. I'm in the need of a larger shed on the property. I have a few 4-wheelers and stone wheels that I use for ice fishing and so on and so forth. So the demand for the storage is. The reason for the variance is my yard is very wet across the whole back of the yard, probably the back 20 to 30 feet from, I don't know, from mid-November till now is, it's wet enough where you wouldn't even want to walk. So putting the shed in that area would be a very big problem.
Pull up the Google Earth.
So the location that I picked is actually one of the driest in my yard. I was gonna say backyard, but I've been told that that is actually a front yard.
Yeah, the fun thing is most people don't know that, but when you're on 2
Yeah,
streets, you
no, I
two
didn't
front
learn that
yards.
until Tom made me aware of it, so I realized what the complication would be at that point. But anyways,
Yeah.
So we were gonna put a fence up anyways, and we decided to kind of include that in the project. So there's going to be a 6-foot stockade fence that's gonna surround this backyard, front yard area. So the building from the dead end of Gertha Road will be almost not seen. You'll see maybe the roof line. The peak of the roof is 10'10", and the wall height's only about 6'5", I believe. So again, it's gonna be 12 feet in from the road, the fence. And then within the fence, it'll be 12 feet in from the fence line, oriented with Gertha.
Right.
And it's going to be 24 feet off of the road edge. And it will be 27 feet off the corner of the hammerhead that exists on the dead end of Gertha.
We had a conversation about the hammerhead. So if you look on the map there, Carrie, see where the end of the road is?
Yes.
That is due to the fact that that's technically town turnaround in the way that the street ends like that. So that is what kind of causes the need for the variance in essence because of partly.
That's
Because
the
of,
second part of the variance, I believe.
yeah, because of the fact that your property line juts in there.
Yes, it does. So, I guess by the illustration, and I know these lines don't match up with the property lines, but, the tree line that you see behind there is my property line on the back. And it is flooded timber, it is a wetland, dedicated wetland behind me. And over the last 3-4 years, it's been so very wet that it's creeped actually into my yard. I've lost probably 20 feet of yard right to this point. So again, putting the building to the back, obviously, if you look down, through my backyard, you will see most of the sheds are back there. But you'll also see that they're covered with moss, and a lot of them are listing one way or another because the ground's so soft. And I just didn't think that was a good idea for.
Yeah. There's a picture in there of the proposed shed.
That is
Is that
a
just-
representation. That is
Because
not-
I was just curious, where are you looking to have the door?
Okay,
Tom,
so,
if you go, yeah, there you go.
okay, so that's a blind representation. That's nothing like what I'm gonna have. So besides it's got a steel roof. So it is 40 feet long and it has a 6-foot deck on the front of it. Okay, the front of it would be facing my driveway in the orientation that it is. So that means there's only a 34-foot interior. So the 40-foot is the complete length of it. So there's only a 34-foot interior. Now, there's a set of 2 doors that are going to face inside into my lawn. And there's going to be a man door that is off of the deck itself. There's a couple of windows, and that's it. I have a representation. I don't know if that come in here.
Well, we've got that
I
picture
have
right there.
a drawing of the actual building. The scale.
Yeah, I didn't get that.
But that, you have that. That answers my question about the doors.
Yeah, this is not a garage. This is a shed.
Yeah.
There's no overhead door.
No
It's got
power,
wooden
no
floor.
power run to it.
It's on runners. It's actually being built by an Amish gentleman, and actually being brought on the site, complete.
Also, the doors are on the back. Okay. I'd stopped over, but both times I stopped over.
Yeah, I had it staked out, but unless you knew what was
Yeah.
transpiring.
But I know that, the back area that we talked about that back area is definitely wet,
Oh, yeah.
so.
And looking at other locations on my
Deck part
lawn,
facing the driveway.
my septic system comes directly out of the back of the house and is right in the middle of my yard. And that creates issues, all over the place. I can't drive anything heavy to actually install it. My wife and I have plans for next year, of putting an above ground pool in also. And that would be right behind our porch.
Kind of where that little red dot is right now.
No, that's
Or
actually.
over to the right a
Yep,
little more.
Yep, it'd be right behind that porch, right there.
Okay,
And so I wanted to make sure that I had enough room so that it didn't look all, crunched right in together.
Right.
So I'm 25 feet off the corner of that porch to where the shed will actually be, on a kind of a little of a diagonal. You can see on your drawing. of-
Can you show me where the shed would be? I took a picture. of
Okay,
it.
absolutely. Okay, absolutely. These two stakes here
Mhm.
are the actual, these two here, and this is the back stake. Okay, this is where the shed would be. The stakes, this stake here that you see here,
Mhm.
that's the fence. I just wanted to show you where the fence was going to be located.
Okay, so it's perpendicular to the
To the
extension of the
Gertha,
house.
it's,
In other words,
yes. It's actually if you follow that line that's there, it's about
The line
where
right
it
in
is.
front.
But the one, that, the property line that's not in the right place, that's basically, if you look at your, I have a survey map that's with your packet that has it drawn on it, where exactly it will be. So here's the porch, and here's the edge of the building. Okay, and all the dimensions are all there. This is the representation. The fence is actually going to go all the way.
all the way around the yard.
Yeah,
so
here.
I have a question.
Sure.
What are you gonna do with the other shed that's on the property?
Nothing.
So you'll have two sheds.
I will have two sheds.
So what we're looking for is a variance of 16 feet on the Gertha side. And then 13 feet on the rear yard side. Right?
Well, it's a front, it's another front.
Well,
Yeah,
yes,
so-
on here it says rear, that's
Yeah.
right, yes, but it is front.
Mhm. Second front,
So they consider the hammerhead, that's the other front. So I have three front yards.
you do. It's weird.
Yes.
Just be thankful you don't have 4.
Maybe the assessment should go up with 3 front yards.
Wait.
Wait a minute.
No idea. No idea, escaping.
Okay.
Not that we have no say in that. so
Okay.
No, I knew that.
Clarify that. All right. Does any other member of the board have any questions, KP?
I don't have any questions, but about a year or so ago, I did his next door neighbor. And similar situation, but he had his is a little bit further back. And I don't know if you can see it there or not, but yeah, that land is all wet, just the way the man explained it.
Yeah, my neighbor brought in 8 inches of runner crush to build a pad to build that building. That's how much he needed to get it to be even above water.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was what, right there where the pool looks like, right?
It's been-
Yeah,
Should be ample.
and
Quite wet in that area lately too. so.
Oh, yeah.
There's a garage in the back of that yard too.
that's the one
That's
I'm
it.
talking about.
That's what,
That's
yeah,
what-
you guys approved that like just before I came on. I think.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah, could be, like about a year ago, maybe, I don't know.
I think
2 years
too,
ago.
so. I don't remember. I think it was just before, but either way.
But the other thing is that, all the neighbors were notified, they all got their letters.
And I actually have 2 letters from the 2 houses that it would be, the most, impacted by this, the 110 and the 108, giving me their full support.
Okay. Did you provide those to,
I just got that.
okay. If, just so we have them for the record, if you could just get a copy of those to Debbie, that way we could just, that way, that way down the road, if there's ever a thing we can pull out the file,
Sure.
we've got them, so. That was nice of them to do that.
Yeah.
Well, they wanted to come tonight, and we said.
No, and honestly, that would have been one of my biggest questions is, those are the two that
Absolutely.
kind of their front yard is,
Yeah, no,
Looking at
we're
your shed.
actually, we're a tight little community here. I know everybody in that picture I know very
a
well.
lot of people on that street have lived there for a long time.
Yes, we used to live on the corner, right up the street of Gertha and Kirkville. There was a small ranch right there, and we loved the neighborhood so much, we actually bought the house down here at that end
Nice.
about 15 years ago. So we've been there 25 years.
Claire, do you have any questions? Carrie?
No, just a neighbor impact.
I'm good. Warren?
Warren, do you have any additional questions?
No, I don't think so.
All right, so now I'm gonna open the meeting to anyone in the audience that would like to comment on variance. Is there anybody obviously we don't have anybody here, we've got the two letters, but did he show you how to do that?
The next door neighbor on 224, he's okay with? Or you're okay?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was so far away from his property. It's like,
Well, he has the same issue with the water in his backyard too.
oh, yeah,
so,
oh, absolutely.
Yeah, like you said,
Trucks there too, so.
all right. So at this time, I want to request a motion to close the public hearing.
Make a motion to close public hearing.
All right, Carrie seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? All right, so now we'll have a discussion with the board members to discuss this. So kind of the same thing, those 5 questions that you answered. We're gonna go through those as well. All right, so we'll start with question number 1. Before I do that, does anybody on the board have any other comments? Before we go into the questions? Okay. All right, so question number 1, whether the benefit sought by the applicant can be achieved by a feasible alternative to the variance.
Well, yeah, he could turn the barn another way, shed, let's say. But
Or move it over and have to put down 8 inches of crush.
he'd have to bring it up quite a bit. For the,
So to me, the answer to that would be no, because there's really with the water, there's not really a feasible,
right.
and the hammerhead.
And
The
the
hammerhead plays a factor.
Yeah.
All right, whether an undesirable change would be produced in the character of the neighborhood or a detriment to nearby properties.
I'd say no.
No.
Lots of sheds, lots of
Which size?
storage
Good size
facilities in the
fence.
area.
Plus the fence will be there.
Yeah, it'll look nice. Whether the requested variance is substantial, I'd say yes to that, right? What do you guys think?
Yeah,
Or no?
I'd say no.
As compared to.
Because of just the fact
size of
that
property.
the way that the property is.
Mhm.
Okay,
Mhm.
okay, I'm okay with that. All right, would the variance have an adverse impact on the physical or environmental conditions of the neighborhood?
No. The only environmental impact would be the water coming off the street, trying to get back in the wetland. That shouldn't be a problem.
That
Yeah,
dead
I know.
end is almost below grade. If you go down there after a rain, you will not see the end of the dead end. It literally floods out until it has time to drain itself off.
The street itself.
The actual, when you get down to the dead end where the hammerhead
Oh,
is,
the hammer. Okay.
it is literally, the water's back up there because there's nowhere for it to go. There's nowhere for it to go.
Yeah.
It does come in the yard, but again, where I put the back of this building is just outside of that area. It won't be impacted, and it's not gonna impact water flow, that's for sure.
Do you plan to elevate that?
I plan to level it,
Okay.
so I guess, yes, because the back end's probably maybe 4 inches lower than the front, just the way the yard pitches. So I'm gonna take a couple inches out of the front, put a couple inches to the back, so it's more of a level.
Basically slopes, goes from the driveway towards the wet area.
Yeah.
The water.
So we're just gonna level that
Okay.
area.
Does it come up as far as where this pallet is?
Actually, so there's the back of it. So it actually, it's a little further back from that, those panels. Yeah.
Okay. So we say no.
I think,
Okay. Now question number 5, whether the alleged difficulty was self-created.
yes,
Right. All right. All right, so the ZBA, after taking into consideration the above 5 factors, finds that the benefit to the applicant does outweigh the detriment to the neighborhood or community.
yes.
Yes.
All right. And then,
Are there any conditions?
right,
you would put on approval?
Just as, just as it's been presented. You know, 1-story building, wood floor.
Mhm.
So on and so
it's
forth.
not going to be a crazy like neon pink.
Right.
To match.
Absolutely.
Anybody have
Now,
an
if he
issue?
wants to get along with the rest of his neighbors, so okay.
Does anybody have an issue with the fact that the 2 sheds on the property?
No, opposite sides of the property. And if you look on the back of those other properties down there, beyond the,
There's 1 or 2 that have got
There's
to.
quite a few
Yeah.
properties. that have
they've got 2
dual
and
sheds.
3. I mean, place, you know, excuse the expression. The home doesn't look junky to start with. They got a lot of toys, but it's not trashy. So I'm not concerned.
It's a valid question, though, and
Mhm.
if he was coming in for a variance on a 5th shed or something, then that
It's
would
a
be a
good
good reason not to
Yeah,
allow a variance.
The other shed is in good shape. I noticed that.
Yes, absolutely. Previous owner kind of made it very tough for me to do anything with that shed. They actually have a concrete pad that's 6 inches thick that sits there. And when I bought the property, there was an old metal shed that was attached to it. So I really didn't have a choice but to put my shed where he had. And I absolutely do not like where it is. But my neighbor has his pool shed right behind it. And, you know, so it's not a detriment to either one of us. So we never did, you know, mention it.
all right. So there is agreement that there is no significant impact on the environment. Therefore, I propose a type 2 action on seeker and no further review is required. Would somebody like to make a motion?
Come on. Harry,
Mr. Chairman and members of the board, I move that zoning board grant an area variance to Dale Laughlin for the real property located at 226 Sheps Lane, Crystal, New York. This variance is being granted for the specific purpose of permitting the construction of a 12 by 40 foot shed, thereby modifying the 40-foot front yard setback to that of 24 feet, leaving a variance of
Which front yard? There were 2.
the first one. Yes, front yard setback to that of 24 feet, leaving a variance of 16 feet, and modifying the 40-foot front yard setback on Sheps.
I would say the hammerhead.
Hammerhead, okay, to that of 27 feet, leaving a variance of 13 feet.
oh, yeah, and I'll second that.
All right. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right, you've been granted your request for the variances. And Debbie and her team will follow up with you on getting you the permits.
Very much.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for your time. Have a great evening.
You guys have a good evening.
You have a team now. Sorry, John, she has a team. My team is just my personalities. All right. So agenda item number 5. Andrew and Angela Schwank. Is that Schwank? Schwanky. See, I knew I was going to butcher that. I'm sorry.
That's fine.
Of 5726 Harness Hook Lane in Chittenango. They're going to need one variance to install a 12 by 24 pool house / shed. So just as the other folks did, Andrew, if you could come forward and just kind of explain what you're looking to do. And I just want to say up front that you guys did an awesome job on answering your 5 questions. Really well done.
Very good.
Well, thank you. And I will say, number one, I want to appreciate you guys for hearing my variance request. I appreciate that. I've never been through the process, and it's a lot easier than traffic court. So that's last time I've been in a session like this. And the reason for the actual variance, one of the map that you see up there was something that I've been working on for the last 2 years. I've designed the entire backyard, I've designed the whole front yard, I put them on a walkway, I plan on putting in the pool deck after the pool is actually dug and installed. We put the pool house along with the permit to the shed, but we found out at the very end that it did not meet the setback requirements, so we took that off the approved pool permit. And we went with a separate and then the variance. So that being said, after Mr. Leinhardt, did I say your name? Leinhardt, thank you, visited me this last Saturday, he actually brought some things to my attention. So he actually asked if we could move the entire structure away from the setback. Obviously, moving the actual pool to meet the 20-foot requirement of the sideline is not an option because of where the pool is centered with the back of the house and our entertainment space, but we could actually move the structure closer to the pool. So I've provided updated maps, one as a full shot and then as a zoomed in shot that provides new, I've got, I think, 4 or 5 copies. The second page is actually the zoomed in version. So now I would like to, the original request was for a 10-foot 11-inch setback, meaning a 9-foot 1-inch variance, to change that to a 15-foot 4-inch setback and only asking for 4 foot 8 inches of setback.
So we'll need to just make sure we amend that, right?
So there's 2 more copies. So
He's got some right there.
I'll need one for the file.
not sure.
Thank you.
So we're looking for, you said 5 feet now?
It actually has gone to 4
Or
foot 8 inches, and I have every inch down to the line. I've drawn this through and through.
I wish I was that good with CAD programs.
I actually went through about 10 of them, and I
I like
bought
that.
this one because I tried to get a landscape architect, and they wanted like $5,000, and I'm like,
By software.
I'll buy the software and just play, so. So yeah, that's, and I'm sorry, the original question was, why do we want this? Obviously, the sun sets on this side. So with the layout of our house, this will actually provide a shaded area. Because the first 7 feet of the 24 feet is an actual open gable. So the last 15 by 12 is a shed. The front portion is actually going to be an open gable. So it's going to more so, and this was the builder's design, it's not going to look like this, but this is the architectural drawing. So it's going to actually be all open on the front. So this will actually provide shaded area, so pool monitors, adults can actually, I have 3 kids, 7, 5, and 2, hence the reason for the pool. So this will allow somebody to be very close to the actual swimming area.
Not out in the direct sun.
And not out in the direct sun because of the afternoon sun and the way it sets. So that is why we put that right on the edge of the pool like that. So, and then the back side of the shed is going to be 15 by 12. There'll be an access door in the back and then a roll-up door in the back for lawnmowers and just overall pool equipment and stuff like that. And we are color matching. We upgraded to vinyl siding. It will be exactly the same color as the house. We did architectural shingles for the top. My wife wanted the Craftsman look, so it is gonna have open gable with 6x6 beams. I know you worked with the builder directly on securing it. And
All the architectural end of it is been approved. So as soon as the variance is granted, the construction documents, we work through it.
Yes, so, and it's a very, very high-end pool house, with like shiplap with flat wall, and my wife spent a fortune on the fine tuning. So, I guess that's it. No such question.
Did I hear you say put lawn mowers in the back of the,
My lawnmower, yes,
on the right side?
on the back side. So there's gonna be a door on the back side of it, up here. So the rider lawnmower will pull back into that. And we're getting that color matched to the siding, so that is not next door. And we did discuss this with the new neighbors. They actually just built and moved into
So that house just finished.
They just
recently.
finished,
So
and
that would be the house to the right of this,
facing my house to the left.
facing your house to the left?
Yeah.
The blue house? I think it's-
The one with
Yes.
the lawns up to it.
Yes, the one with the big pile area.
Okay,
Yes, so,
Where's Pat?
so it'd be that one.
and their direct view from the back of the house actually angles out, so they're not gonna see it from their back windows. They're gonna look out on their deck, and their deck is actually, they have framing set up for the deck on the back of the house. So if this was their house, their deck is over on this side. And I asked them, I said, because they had a pool company truck, I said, are you guys gonna do something for your backyard? And they said, we're not gonna do a pool, we just ordered a hot tub. So that's actually a nice thing, because if they put that at the back with their walkout, the shed's gonna give them privacy, while it's gonna keep the noise down, the privacy for our pool from that. So it's kind of a win-win from that. So they have, I didn't get a letter, but we did talk to them about it. But the way the house is on the cul-de-sac are, they all angle away from the backyards because of the roundness. And then the location, ideally, we would have put the pool down, but when the builder sold us the lot, he said we had a nice flat walkout, and then the snow melted, and it was basically a perfect pitch that went down. So this took me 14 loads of fill from Kinsella that I moved myself when I moved in, just to get a flat space 2 years ago to put a pool in. Because that was my promise to my wife, that we'd have a pool someday. So we've been waiting a long time to get this underway.
Thank you.
Thank you. For questions?
I was gonna ask if
So knock them down now.
I know when I came to see you, I had asked you if the pool could move, looking at this to the left.
Yep.
A little bit. And the pool shed could move to the left a little bit.
Yep.
And then you told me, if I'm not mistaken, that your wife wanted the pool where it was because of symmetry.
Yep.
In relation to the brown deck off the back of the house.
Yeah, so the back of the house, this is a second floor deck. And then where these three chairs are, there's 2 doors for the walkout. So that would come out right to the deck. And then, but the entertainment space is gonna be obviously the deck for in-laws and whatnot, and then this side of it. And ideally, because when we built this place over here, the whole yard slopes. I mean, it's a great sledding hill, but that's about all it's useful for. And my wife wants to, phase 14, whatever you want to call it, wants to put a retaining wall up here at some point and then start to level this out, so our kids actually have a flat place to play. So that's why we really don't want to cut into that area. Right now, it's not flat because from the backside of that driveway, it just starts to slope.
drops off this. Yeah.
It drops off.
There's like a gully behind it.
And yes, I could move that in, but that just moves everything over. So we do like the symmetricalness of it. So I would not, again, that's why the variance request.
Question.
Yes.
Rather than moving it, your shed in towards the pool, why not put it on the back side?
The shed on the backside of the pool,
Yeah.
because from probably, this is a 4-foot drawing from the water's edge to what I assume would be part of the decking that goes around it. About another 4 feet, it drops from this point to about 15 feet, 8 feet in elevation. So it just drops straight down. because this has all been filled. So there's really no, if I brought this down here.
Yeah.
The actual height of the shed would be under the height of the pool. Or the top of the pool, it's that much of a great difference. So that's really our only flat spot, unless I cut into the other side where it cuts into my kid's future play area.
I remember when I looked at this. If we can go back to that map in the neighborhood. Yeah. As I recall, could be wrong. We're slightly off dead center at the end of the cul-de-sac. So with the X.
Yeah.
The other house. What is where 082.2-01-430? What, did they put a house in there?
That's the new house.
That's the new one?
That's the difference.
Okay. The reason I was asking you about that is because that is very close to property line. Or close to where you want to put your shed. That's why I was asking you if you had considered moving the pool, looking at this to the right and the shed to the right. I do remember the drop off. Although I don't remember how steep the drop off was.
It's about 8 feet from where it levels.
It drops pretty good.
Because I know that if that was done, you really wouldn't. The house that's to the right of you, looking at this.
Yes.
That's no problem, but it is close to the other house that's built where that 43.0 is.
Yeah. It is because our house is more left justified facing the house and because the driveway's on the right side. And their house is more right justified. But from a property line aspect, the corner of their house is actually exactly the same as the corner of our house. So they built theirs on the right side, we built ours on the left side. So they're evenly spaced. But yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, it is closer, but it's closer to our house than the other house, just like ours is closer to theirs than the other side of the house.
I don't remember seeing a lot of windows on their house to the.
No, I mean, they have windows on the back
On the
side.
back, but not the side.
No, they have one window on the side,
Yeah, it's-
which we're not sure of because my daughter's one window on the side and they have teenage boys. And I'm like, great, we have our neighbors. And I have a window. So I can't get a tree to grow 30 feet tall very fast.
You'll be able to see this from the road though.
No. The shed?
Yeah, the shed, you'll be
I-
able to see it from the road.
You will probably be able to see just the top of it because it drops. The shed height is, I mean, it's right under whatever, it's like 10 foot, 11, it's like whatever they had to make it road travel it. So I know it's not, it's a very, very low roof. But yeah, you would be able to see part of it, yes. There is gonna be, the side of the shed that faces the road is actually gonna have the 2 windows with the shutters, and the other side is gonna have a door. So there's gonna be a door on this side, a man door, but this side will actually have nice windows and flower boxes, and it will have the matching siding of the house.
So if you keep the pool exactly as you have it here, did I understand that you would consider taking the pool shed and moving it closer to the pool?
Yep, so
That's
that's what the.
said there, yeah.
Okay, by how much, is that what the, so
That-
you need a variance of 4
It's
feet
about a
8
5 foot.
inches?
It's about a
Yes.
5 foot, yeah, it was 9,
Instead of 9.1?
yeah, so I took your advice and you said, can we move the whole thing another 5 feet this
Okay, I
way?
just want to make sure I understand.
Yeah, so
Absolutely.
it
So we redrew it and then there's spray paint on my yard.
cut down on the needed size of the variance, which was, I appreciate you doing.
It makes sense.
And honestly, someone that's in pools a lot, wanting it closer is probably better,
I know,
so.
I was just fixated on the map and the drawings and.
Your kids need swim lessons though. Let him-
Well, if it moves close to the pool, you also won't see it as much.
Absolutely, yeah, yeah.
All right, any other questions from the board? Well, no, the public hearing, no, we're about to. All right. So I would like to now open the meeting to anyone in the audience that would like to comment. Can we get a,
Make a motion to open the public hearing.
thank you,
Second.
all in favor?
All right.
Aye, opposed? Anyone in the Public, sir?
Can I just ask, how far is it off from the how far is that post gonna be off from the concrete around your pool?
Well, the actual pool is only having 18 to 20 inches of a concrete cantilever ring,
Okay,
and the rest is gonna be pavers that I'm gonna build a sub base with rock crush.
I just didn't see the new drawing, so I didn't know how far off, because if they do the concrete around the pool and then they go to dig the concrete for the footers, for the posts, I didn't want them to have to cut into finished concrete and anything of that nature, so I was just thinking,
No, it's definitely not, so, and the whole front is gonna be open, so it's just gonna have the posts that aren't actually attached to the shed floor.
yeah,
Um,
but they were gonna put a footer down on that.
Was he?
I believe so, and then put something over it.
Yeah, you're right, because he said, once he gets it set up and I do the runner crush base, he's gonna come back and do the footer after I get the stuff.
Okay, I just didn't want you to have to cut into concrete if it was that close to the pool.
No, the only concrete we have is gonna be the 18 inches just to frame the pool, and then it's gonna have the pavers butting up to that. I mean, there's gonna be I don't know what they call it, but they call it like a concrete slushy that they're backfilling the pool in.
Yeah.
That's gonna underfill a lot of the paperwork, but they said that's like consistency and come back to the runner crush anyway.
Yeah.
So,
That was my question. Trying to save some headache for the contractors later on.
Yeah.
There was.
And you
it was
said
close.
there's nobody in the public? All right, can we get a motion to close the public hearing?
I'll make that motion.
Carrie seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Abstaining? All right, so we're gonna now have that same discussion among the members of the board, so we're gonna go through those 5 questions. You good? Did I forget something?
I was thinking secret.
Oh, not yet.
Not yet.
I'm following my script tonight. I'm on top of it. All right, first question, whether the benefits sought by the applicant can be achieved by a feasible alternative to the variance?
No,
Aside from moving in and having to put down a whole bunch more crush to
Yeah.
level his yard again.
Are we talking about the revised variance?
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
yep. Yeah, and I was gonna go over that when we get to the. Yep, all right, and again, thank you for doing that.
makes sense.
Whether an undesirable change would be produced in character of the neighborhood or detriment to nearby properties.
no,
Whether the requested variance is substantial.
Not anymore,
not
because
now.
I've done it.
Would the variance have an adverse impact on the physical or environmental conditions of the neighborhood? And I think that's no too, because by moving it in, it helped.
Right.
All right,
that's right.
and everybody's favorite question, whether the alleged difficulty was self-created.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. So the ZBA, after taking into consideration the above 5 factors, finds that the benefits the applicant does outweigh the detriment to the neighborhood or community. ZBA further finds that a variance for 4 feet, 8 inches
4 inches.
is the minimum variance that should be granted in order to preserve and protect the character of the neighborhood and the health, safety, and welfare of the community. And there's an agreement that there is no significant impact on the environment. Therefore, I propose a type 2 action on seeker and no further review is required. Right, no, I know. I was just pausing dramatically.
But it was, okay.
I was catching my breath. All right, based on our discussions, would someone make a motion to grant or deny the area variance for this applicant?
I will.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman and members of the board. I move that the zoning board grant an area variance to Andrew and Angela Schwanke for the real property located at 5726 Harness Hook Lane, Chittenango, New York. This variance is being granted for the specific purpose of permitting the construction of a 12 by 24-foot pool house / shed, thereby modifying the 40-foot, no, it's 20 foot, isn't it?
What?
40 foot
24. Yeah.
20-foot sideline setback to that of 15 feet 4 inches, leaving a variance of 4 feet 8 inches.
I'll second that.
All right, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right, congratulations, sir.
Thank you.
And same as I said to them before, Debbie will follow up with you. Not her team.
Good luck. I'm sure the wife will be happy.
Yeah, I gotta go. Hopefully they dig the pool.
Did they give you timeline on the pool?
No, we're doing Canon and we ordered it 2 years ago and he basically said this is the most challenging project of his entire year. And he's gotta let his guys warm up because he has to dig a 4-foot retaining wall under the whole backside of the
Oh, to
pool.
keep it, yeah,
And it's got to put like center blocks in it just to make a footer so the pool doesn't
slide
slide
down
down
the hill.
the hill.
How deep is it gonna be?
It doesn't have a diving board, so I think it's like 8 feet,
Yeah.
but 3.5 feet. So. Yeah, so.
Enjoy
Yeah.
when you get it.
Thank you.
Have a great night. All right, does anybody else have any other business?
I do. When is the date of the next meeting?
June 16th.
Yeah.
So they're talking about putting phones out.
Tom, do you have anything else?
Nope.
Jamie, are you good?
Nope.
All right. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Warren,
Second.
Claire seconded. You were too slow. All in favor?
I was gonna say, we'll sit here until we get some.
Don't be opposed.
All right.